Hello, and welcome back to the channel. We are diving back into the Carlee story. Many of you have informed me that the audio was missing to the video. Thank you very much for that. I don't know about some of y'all, but we had a major weather event. Our power went out for a time, and so that affected my computer, my microphone. We had to, reconnect and redo a lot of things. So that explains why there was no volume. I had no idea that my computer microphone was affected in that way. But anyway, I'm coming back to you to revisit this story. Thanks again for those of you who informed me that the audio was missing from the video. But we traced the problems, and here we are again. Carlee Russell. Things are not looking good for this young lady at all. Things are not looking good for her. So we're going to get into this story. Some of you have already seen the news updates. Of course, a number of different networks are covering this. Okay, so I'm going to share it with you again. Of course, I'll be right back with some additional commentary on this story that is unfolding. But anyway, take a listen, family.
We begin with a story that has captured the nation's attention this afternoon. We're learning new details about the disappearance of Carlee Russell. Thanks so much for joining us. For Fox 5 News at 4, I'm Christine Spiro. Officers say last Thursday, Carlee Russell called 911 to report a toddler wandering on I-459, and that set off a massive search for the 25-year-old. According to police, Saturday night, Russell returned home. This afternoon, authorities revealed more about her disappearance, including playing the 911 call she made that day. Officers say days before her disappearance, though, Carlee took a robe and toilet paper from her job. She then stopped to grab food before getting on the interstate, and a short time later, she called 911. Take a look.
Data from Carlee's phone, including her Life 360 app, shows that she traveled approximately 600 yards in her vehicle while she was on the phone with 911, stating that she was following a child. 600 yards. That is 6 football fields straight. 600 yards. Detectives continue analyzing data from Carlee's cell phone that was left behind at the scene. We enlisted the help of the United States Secret Service in conducting this analysis. Part of what data included several internet searches in the days leading up to their disappearance that I think are very relevant to this case. On July 11th at 7:30 a.m., the term, "Do you have to pay for an Amber Alert?" was searched. On July 13th at 1:03 a.m., the day of her disappearance, the term, "How to take money from a register without being caught," was searched. On July 13th at 2:13 a.m., the day of her disappearance, the term Birmingham bus station was searched. On July 13th, 2:35 a.m., a search for a one-way bus ticket from Birmingham to Nashville was conducted with a departure date of July 13th. On July 13th at 12:10 p.m., a search for the movie Taken, a film about abduction, was conducted. There were 2 searches related to Amber Alerts on a computer at Carlee's place of employment, including one regarding the maximum age of an Amber Alert.
Now, authorities say they do not believe there is any threat to the public. Authorities have asked for another interview with Carlee Russell. The family has not yet granted that. We will continue to follow this story and bring you more details coming up on Fox 5 News.
Okay. So my original commentary didn't come through. because of the power outage. I was just running my mouth and nothing was recorded. I had no idea, however, but anyway, I'm going to give it to you now, family. I'm going to talk about this thing now. First of all, again, things are not looking good for Carlee Russell with what they are talking about. Looking at one of the comments here, Michelson Joseph says this is a psyop. Okay, so there's a whole lot of questions that a lot of people have concerning this, right? Many of you are saying that you felt like it was a wasted prayer. Oh my goodness. One of the things that I said in my commentary was that if this indeed is a hoax, in which they're still investigating things, right? If this indeed is a hoax, then she not only made our people look bad, but she also put black women in danger, because we already have ears that don't believe when you are going through something. You see, right? There's already this lack of response to the hundreds of thousands of missing black women. So the way I want to deal with this story is, as I've stated before, we gave the young lady the benefit of the doubt, and we said that even the law allows for the innocent until proven guilty, right? And so that's where we will remain, innocent until proven guilty. But right now it is not looking good for this young woman, and if she indeed has pulled a whammy based on some of the information that's been presented, this is not looking good for her at all. But neither is it looking good for black women. We already have a deep stain on our community in regards to how black women are treated. And so the last thing you need is for a black woman who has a good job and was seemingly a good man and a good family structure and all of this support crying wolf. That is the last thing you need. That is the last thing needed in the black community. So this young woman, she has a lot of explaining to do at this point. With what they are uncovering, okay? At this point, what they're uncovering is she needs to start speaking now. With what they're uncovering, she can no longer say that I just can't speak. Okay, we need to understand, if you are traumatized, what did it? Why are you traumatized? There's still the question of her vehicle being left there at the site. Okay, there's still the question of the phone call to the police. They said that she called and she sounded frantic. Why did she leave her phone? Why did she leave her purse? Why did she leave her vehicle? Where was she for 2 days? Most of us can't just be out here wandering off of the side of the road for 2 days. No place to sleep, no phone, no purse, no vehicle. Where were you? People have a right to know, especially since, as the news report stated, the whole nation was looking at this story very closely. A lot of people praying, a lot of people concerned. I even heard grown men that reported on this saying that this story hit very close to home and had them all messed up, because everyone was worried about this young woman. Wow. And so for the person who said that this sounds like a psyop, and then I'm looking at Lioness Ahaya says that have we heard that there is 1 minute and 46 minutes of the highway scene or highway footage missing? Someone else said that she left her vehicle running. What is going on? Okay, so if you build a case based on some of the things that are being uncovered, car left running, car left at the scene, phone left at the scene, purse left at the scene, missing video footage, police saying that she seemed to be visibly traumatized. Someone said she screamed. What's going on here? Was this a mental health crisis? Some are saying in the chat that this is could be related to a mental health issue. Now, you all know what we believe about mental health issues. Let me tell y'all, for those of you who don't know what we believe about it, I believe that most mental health issues are not mental health issues at all when you consider it from a medical standpoint. We see it more as something that is more demonic. Thank you, Adrenelle. Something demonic. Someone says they were wondering if she was hallucinating and seeing a ghost. Now, I told y'all about my experience with that many years ago, but of course I didn't go out my mind or whatever like that. I saw this child running down the street when I was doing my paper route, looked like she was illuminated, and because of my spiritual background, I thought that it was I'm just going to call it a shutter click from the past, possibly an apparition or a ghost running down the street because of the way the child was dressed. Her curly locks were her curly hair, not locks. Her curls, her blonde curls were deeply defined. She had on one of those old style looking white gowns, and she had a baby doll in her arms, and she was running down the street. Okay, so if she had a mental health issue going on, it may have been something that she could not deal with mentally or spiritually. Do y'all hear what I'm saying? Now, we touched on that a little bit. We touched on that a little bit in the last broadcast for those who were saying she possibly saw a ghost or something like that. Okay? Because if that's what happened, because even others have said that she seemed like she was very traumatized. So what if we're not dealing with a case of a woman who was just outright lying? What if we are dealing with someone who saw something crazy? But the only problem with that reasoning, why was she looking up information on Amber Alerts? Now, again, we keep saying in the chat where some are suggesting that she possibly had some type of mental health issues. I agree with Miss Eby. Miss Eby says it's just another black eye for black women. People look up random stuff all the time. Okay, someone said people look up random stuff all the time, but again, it is kind of strange though. It is kind of strange to me that a person would be looking up information on Amber Alerts and how old do you have to be. That part is strange. I don't understand that one. Now, the issue of her stealing from her job, we're talking about, they said a robe and some tissue. I'm going to just be honest with y'all. A robe and some tissue, it sounded like something else was going on, because that's not the kind of stuff people steal. A lot of times, if you work in a hospital environment, a roll of tissue, a scalpel, or a gown, you know what I'm saying? Things like that are very easily just not stolen. Now, if you said she had some drugs that, she got a hold of, then I would feel like there was some stealing going on. But when you think about it, a roll of tissue, y'all, come on now, a robe, I don't know about all that. A lot of people walk out of the hospital with different hospital gear on all the time. Now, some are giving other things about the Red Roof Inn, possibly some type of entanglement. Not really sure about all of this information that's being put out there. I'm trying to deal with this mental health issue or this demonic issue, or what is actually going on here, because again, something is very strange. And like we stated before, a lot of people pray for her. I did see grown men saying that this one had them all messed up, because we're looking at a young woman who seemed to have her stuff together, right? Seemed like she had her stuff together. I'm seeing a lot of stuff about deliverance and demons. Someone says a nervous breakdown. Scon 281 says nervous breakdown may be they're going to get to the bottom of this quickly. Because of how people are describing her after seeing her, it's quite possible that she had some type of nervous breakdown or mental episode that could be demonically related. Could be demonically related. But again, as we stated before, you all, it is quite possible that some more details are going to come forward. But the law don't care about no demons. They don't care about no mental health breakdown. If they feel that you have whammied them in any kind of way, y'all hear what I'm saying? She may spend some time in jail. She just may spend time in jail, because again, a lot of times folk don't look at mental breaks and demonic infiltration and things of that nature. They don't look at it the way many of us look at it. Someone said this woman made a very poor choice. Folk gotta know the fact that she did call 911 and they have her call. What is up with that call? I think she's old enough to know. That you can't call 911 and not have a real emergency. Do y'all hear what I'm saying? You cannot call 911. You can't do it if there's not a real emergency. Sometimes things are not as they seem. I'm looking at some in the chat saying how other people have broken this down as a hoax. Now, let me share something with you all. Many years ago, I don't know if you all remember the story of the guy that kind of looked like what's that rapper's name? I can't remember his name, but they claimed that he had did something in California, and then the police were after him, and they said that he ended up burning up, but they found his wallet unscathed, unburned, in a cabin. What's his name? Run DMC? No, not Run DMC. If any of you remember that story that I'm talking about, it was a guy in California. They claimed that he had deleted all of these people. He was ex-military, black guy, and they claimed that he had done all of these things. Thank you, Christopher Dorner. Thank you. That story was one of those that I felt like something else was going on, that something was presented to us that wasn't real. That's one of those stories, because I've never seen a case where a simple house fire, in which they claim he was in a cabin, I have never seen a case where everything burns up and there is no evidence left of the body, but only a wallet that didn't have a single burn on it. Did anyone ever question that? Yes, LL Cool J is who he looked like. And so, Now, what I'm saying, the reason why I'm bringing Christopher Dorner up, yeah, the situations are definitely different. I brought that one up because of how the news presented that to us. I'm not sure if I can believe how it was presented to us and how the outcome was. The outcome was that he was just completely just burned with nothing left. They told us this story. And that's where they left it. Did all of this stuff really happen? And that's me addressing those of you who are calling this situation a hoax. Do you all remember also where they showed a so-called black man who apparently deleted a white woman on the news? Remember that? They said it was a live deletion. A lot of people broke that story down too, because the weapon that they claimed this black man used, there were people who were actually doing live examples on YouTube. They said if you get hit with that bullet, your body is going to splatter open. Right? Your body's going to splatter open. But in that case, it was no evidence of blood or anything. They claimed the bullet hit the woman and she hit the ground. And then they took the black guy out. That story seemed very, very strange as well. Very strange. And so, in this crazy world we're living in this crazy world, there is no telling what's going on. Now, I agree with what you're saying, Ty's Kitchen. That's what I do. When it comes to our people, period, men, women, young and old, I will definitely stay hard on them. We definitely stay hard on our people. That's what we've been called to do. The scripture tells us to cry aloud, spare not, lift up your voice like a trumpet in Zion, and show my people their transgressions. That is what we do. What I'm doing is I'm engaging my audience who have concerns about what exactly is going on, because this story seems so very strange to so many of us. Some people are calling it mental health. Some people are calling it demons. Some people are calling it a hoax. Some are saying that she is straight up lying, right? And so, in looking at this whole situation, she does have some explaining to do. But the whole situation, not just her is involved, somebody else is involved too. Y'all understand what I'm saying? Something else is going on here too, because I agree with what someone said in the chat. Someone said that they feel like the police is protecting her in a sense as well. Now, I don't believe that the parents are in on anything. Most parents don't get down with that kind of mess. What could be going on with the parents if this is a hoax? If it is a hoax, that they are in disbelief that their daughter went through what they are claiming she went through. And they're like, okay, what do we believe? This is our daughter, we got to support her, or what's going on, or what? This is where they are. But if she set out to do something of this magnitude, I doubt very seriously if her mother and father would be in on something like this. Hold on one second, family. I got to turn this air off. It's getting a little chilly in here. As D-Zane Didi in the chat says, you know the police don't normally protect us like that. So what is really going on? We have rights to have questions, especially since so many people were praying for this young woman. One brother on his channel said a lot of people were crying for this young woman. A lot of people were concerned. Charles Hicks says he fear it is a demonic hoax. AL says she played with her heart too. Well, like I said, I have daughters her age, and so it's not a surprise that a lot of people would feel some kind of way about this, because you just don't want to see another young woman losing her life, because that is what we see a lot. I agree with Juliet as well. I mean, it is what it is, and what they're saying, a distraction. I do believe things like this are a distraction, but what I've said many times before, we are going to see things happening in the world, but we cannot allow ourselves to be distracted. And what I mean by that is, you can say, okay, this is going on with Carlee Russell, but I'm still paying attention to the fact that things are going to go from bad to worse, are going from bad to worse very quickly in the economy. So one doesn't have to cancel out the other. Sometimes people get so engulfed in these types of things to where they forget that the economy is on a free fall downward. But when you really look at things, you have to understand that even a situation like this, our young people are still out here being taken, being hurt, being killed. So it's very clear that we do cover these kinds of stories. It's very important that we do. We have to pay attention to these kinds of things. Now, I want to say to Ty's Kitchen, you just said that you don't believe in God. You don't believe He exists. I do have a question. Why would you be in this chat here? Because we believe in the Most High over here. I don't understand if you are following a ministry or a channel or something like that, and you don't believe in the things that they believe in. I don't understand. I don't understand. Why even sit here and subject yourself to this? Because I'm going to keep on crying aloud and sparing not, and lifting up my voice like a trumpet in Zion, and showing my people their transgressions, and showing them and telling them that they need to get closer to the Most High. I'm going to keep on doing that. Because at the end of the day, I do believe that our people are being set up big time. So are you saying, you said you believe her parents are praying to a fictional God. So do you believe in the Most High? That's the question I have. Do you believe in the Most High of heaven? If so, thank you for your clarification on that. If you are just saying that she or her parents are praying to a fictional God, but you yourself do believe in the Most High, if that is your clarification, thank you for clarifying. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Because I do get a lot of people who come into my chat who just don't believe. True Princess says she believes that you were trying to say that her parents are calling on the wrong name. Okay. So they believe in the Most High. The thing is, the Most High said at the time of our ignorance, He winks at it. Ms. Eby also says she believes that her parents are Christians. Well, again, at the time of our ignorance, because many of us were Christians too, the Most High winked at our ignorance. But He knows and He understands that He's going to lead us and guide us into all truth. And I hope that even with her parents, that they will come into the truth. I appreciate your additional clarification to Ty's Kitchen. That's what it's all about, getting a clear understanding of what we mean. That's why I'm not really quick to bounce people out of my chat. Sometimes that happens from time to time, and if I see that someone has been bounced prematurely, I will put them back in, and that's no offense to any of my moderators, none whatsoever. I appreciate every last one of you, but sometimes if someone gets bounced prematurely, I'll put them back in. There's only certain things that I'm like, you got to get out of here. If you're a person who's just, being totally disrespectful, a person who don't believe in the Most High at all, a person coming in here and you have a whole other doctrine that is just way off base, and you're trying to push it in here of you being racist. We've had racist people coming in here telling us that we're all delusional if we think we're the people of the book. I mean, stuff like that. I'm like, okay, it's time for you to go. We ain't got time for that, right? That's right, Yahweh's treasure. Getting clarification is always necessary. This is why we need Carlee Russell to give some clarification. Because of how things are going right now. Because of how things are going right now. At this point, she cannot be silent. Now, the only reason where I would understand her silence, if it is what many have been speculating or saying, that it's quite possible she had some type of supernatural experience that just made her just lose it for a minute. That is quite possible, family. Just recently, a number of you shared with me the incident where these young men saw some strange stuff going on in their backyard, some type of something really strange that they couldn't really explain. And police showed up, and so a lot of things were corroborated with that. Based on biblical prophecy, there's some strange stuff going to be happening in these last days. Some strange stuff. AL says she can understand that if she was touched, maybe that's why she's not speaking. That's the only reason for me that I would understand. Well, I'm pretty sure if there was a reasonable explanation that was presented, but so far we haven't gotten that. But one of the only things that I could just kind of overlook if she had some type of demonic encounter. If she had some type of demonic encounter, which would explain a lot of what's going on. Is that what has happened here? Really, really wish she would open up her mouth and possibly say something to us. Miss Pearl says she's waiting to hear her side of the story. Octave says she might be shocked seeing or experiencing something. Someone else talked about all the women that are missing in Cleveland. Exactly. If this story, turns out to be just some big, huge hoax, that is really sad for the women who really, truly are missing in Cleveland and nationwide. Some people can't deal with the things that they see, especially if they're not spiritually grounded. I don't want to turn this into that type of thing because we, again, don't know. We're in the dark right now. But we're just exploring possibilities. But some people cannot deal with certain spiritual encounters. They can't. Cynthia Wright says that she's happy that the young woman is safe no matter the situation. Absolutely. I agree with you. And many of us echo that. We're glad that we did not get a report that she was deleted or deceased. At the end of the day, just like Miss Flora said, she needs the Most High. We all need the Most High. Oh my goodness. Ebony says that there are 60,000 missing black women, but black men are online mocking her. So I'm not going to get off into that. I appreciate your comment, though. I get what you're saying. You know, this is why, if this is a hoax, you can't do that sort of thing. We already have enough going on. Already enough going on to have questionable events popping up. We as a people, we need to understand the time that we are living in. And that's what I'm afraid that we don't get. I feel like enough of our people are not paying attention to the time we are living in. We are living in some strange times, some ever-changing times. Looking at some of your comments here, that's the meaning of the silence. Again, a lot of people have different concerns, different things that they are looking at with the situation. Like I said, I've had several stories shared with me over the past few days. It gets to be very tiring when you get report after report after report of young black women who have been deleted. I've gotten so many of those, and I don't become numb to them. It's a cause for prayer. I don't become numb to them because many times these young women are right around the same age of my daughters. The one I recently got, I mentioned to you all before, where this young man is accused of taking out both of these young women. One of them responded to a Facebook marketplace ad, and she never returned home, and they found her later on deceased. So it gets very tiring and hurting to hear these things, and so we cannot have this kind of thing happening. As a people, we need to pray for our young folk, our young men, our young women. Stuff is happening so fast. Even though the world itself is on a downward spiral fast, within our black community, it seems like things are happening much faster. A lot of people are leaving here for a number of different reasons. A number of different reasons they are leaving here. And so we don't need this sort of thing happening. We don't need it. But what we do need, and which I hope that we take heed to this, family, if you don't know how to pray, ask the Most High to teach you how to pray, because we are going to need it. And I don't mean no now we lay me down to sleep. It's more of a spiritual warfare type thing, as Prosperity or Birthright said. That's what we need. We need to understand spiritual warfare, because we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers of darkness of this world. One of these days, we're going to talk about that in depth, the Most High willing, of course. But sometimes I think we hear these scriptures and we are not really spiritually analyzing what is being said. We don't really truly understand what is being said. If you knew the darkness that was surrounding the black community, half of the things you're doing you wouldn't do. You would stop. You would try to make sure your every move every single day was leading towards something bigger than you. My husband and I have already resolved in our minds that we're not going to be here forever, right? And so every move that we make, we are trying to secure our children spiritually and naturally. We want them to be prepared spiritually for what is to come. Do y'all hear what I'm saying? They need to be prepared. You need to be prepared. We all need to be prepared for what is to come. We get these stories that come at us on a daily basis. I appreciate everyone who shares these things with me. I appreciate it. Continue to share. Sometimes I'll get to it, sometimes I won't. But I'm going to tell you right now, even with all of that, we have to be able to keep our minds elevated to a point where we know that our anchor holds and grips a solid rock. And also, one thing I like to keep in mind, and I want to say this to you all as well, you might be, you want to pray to be one of the ones to be able to stand in the gap for somebody else. In other words, Abba Yah, teach me how to pray for somebody else too. I remember there was a brother that contacted us on Facebook. This was last year sometime. The brother may hear this, but it's a good report, and I want to share it for a reason, okay? The brother had gotten COVID and was in the hospital and was out of town, away from family and friends. And so the brother reached out to us and just said simply this: I just wanted somebody to know where I am, because right now I'm in the hospital. I'm not doing too good. Pray for me. I need somebody to know where I am. So at that moment, me and my husband, we said, we're going to pray for this brother. We're going to pray for this brother right now. We're going to pray for this brother right now. You know what I'm saying? And we prayed that the Most High would keep this brother safe, because we heard details of people going into these hospitals and some dirty dealings were happening. We were so grateful that a few days later, the brother contacted us, let us know he was all right. And we were so thankful. We don't know the brother. We don't know the brother. But the brother follows the ministry, obviously. And we were glad he reached out. We were glad we prayed. We said, Abba, y'all look out for our brother while he's up in this place. He wanted somebody to know where he was. And he decided to reach out to us. I don't know if he reached out to anybody else. He probably could have. But the fact that he reached out to us, we said, we're going to stop right now. You don't have to prepare a time. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to plan a particular prayer. Sometimes you need to stop right then and there and pray. This is what I'm talking about, family. We need to be able to pray for one another. We need to be able to pray for one another when that time comes. That's what we need. Sometimes the Most High will awaken me out of my sleep, y'all. I'll be in tears. And I start praying. One morning I came to my studio. Spirit of heaviness was on me so bad. I began to pray in the Spirit. I began to pray in the Spirit. Tears rolling down my face. My family wasn't even woke yet. I don't question the Most High when this stuff happens. I just go with it. And I say, Father, I don't know what you have me praying for, who you have me praying for, but I'm going to do this because I know that there are some things that are constantly happening in the black community, happening in the world. And we don't have time to be messing around out here. We don't have time to be messing around out here, family. Even though some of these things come and they appear to be distractions to us. Some of these things happen. Real things happen, and we see people in the black community being buried. The other night, I was listening to Evangelist Shirley Caesar. Some of you may be familiar with her. She's one of our seniors up in age now, right? I was just listening to her as I was laying in the bed. And it was during the time of COVID. And I was listening to her. She was praying. She was talking about all of the people that had passed on. And I was listening to the prayer. It was so very powerful. And I actually fell asleep listening to her prayer because it went from one video to the next. This was during the time where the churches and stuff were shut down. And I remember feeling some kind of way. It actually changed my dreams that night. It changed my dreams that night. Sometimes when you put yourself in an atmosphere of prayer, meditation, praise, and worship, it does something different for you when you sleep at night. Unleash with Kish says Shirley will get you through. Yeah, some of these Christian evangelists and stuff like that, they know how to get a prayer through, y'all. I remember my brother-in-law, my husband's brother, he had said that some Christian women prayed for him in a situation that he was in and got him through something very major because these people prayed for him. Let's understand the power of prayer. Like I said, I ain't talking about no now I lay me down to sleep. I'm talking about crying out to the Most High, because this is what we are going to need in these last days. This is what we need. I don't care where you are. I don't care who's watching. I don't care who don't believe. What if you are faced with a situation? What if you are faced with a situation where somebody's life depends on your prayers? Are you up for the challenge? Listen, family, I love you all very much. I love you all very much. I want you all to understand something. Playtime has been over. No time to play anymore. I know we get up and we live our lives and we go out, we see this and we see that, things happening. We see things we want and desire, places we want to go. Some folk want to travel the world. I know that we all have needs and things that we have to do in order to stay alive and survive. We got to feed ourselves, clothe ourselves. We got to come in out of the rain, have to have shelter from the storm. Can't live outside in the wintertime. We know all of this kind of stuff, right? But in the midst of all of that, we all need to make sure that we are standing in the gap for our families and one another. Please understand how serious this is. Please understand. I can share some testimonies with you all that would just, it would blow some of your minds. ML says Sky Daddy ain't coming. ML, this ain't the place for you. I don't refer to the Most High as Sky Daddy. That's one of those little things that y'all got going on in your mind. All of this stuff about Sky Daddy. One thing I would tell you, ML in the chat, every knee is gonna bow. And every tongue is going to confess. That's right, Yahweh's treasure. Keep us posted. You said soon. Keep us posted. Thank you to Death Before Dishonor. I appreciate that. Glisten says ML kick rocks out of here. Yeah. The way I look at things is a lot of people gonna see. We are living in a we shall see time period. Those who don't believe, we shall see. What other explanation do you have for all of this magnificent stuff that's happening? The Bible tells us that the wicked shall cease from troubling. So the way things are going right now, the wicked can't continue on in this way. The Most High gonna set the record straight. Only He can do that. There's nothing we can do within our own power. Nothing at all. That's right, KJ Bush said it's a done deal. The Most High already locked everything down. Prophecy is playing out. I love that, family. I love it. It's a done deal. That's right. It's already locked down. There is nothing anyone can do to change or stop biblical prophecy. Nothing at all. That's right. We are nothing without the Most High. Dzane DD says, woe to the unbelievers. Cut from a different cloth says, we're nothing without the Most High. Carmen says, Yah is the author and the finisher. Come on now. Winsome says, they shall soon know who is the king. That's right. That's right, J. Lisa. The Most High Yah declares the end from the beginning. Elsa Diva says he has no equals. No equals. Ty's Kitchen says they know who the king is. I believe they do too. This is why the scripture says they're going to try to turn their weapons on the Most High. I believe they know what he looks like too, and what his people look like as well. This is why there are so many targets aimed at his people, so many fiery darts aimed at his people. But this is why we were instructed to put on the whole armor of Yah, that we may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. It is my hope and my prayer that this young woman on the screen, Carlee Russell, and her family will begin to understand what time we are living in. For many of us, these people are just headlines. They're just headlines. They're the next thing to talk about for just a brief moment. And then the story moves right along. Notice how the story of the young 14-year-old who defended his mother by deleting that dude, that story is in the wind now. Something else took its place. Something else is going to take the place of this. But in all of this, all of these headlines and this breaking news and reports that we are hearing, what we've got to do is make sure that our mind stays focused on fortifying ourselves both naturally and spiritually. Things like this, though, I'm going to echo what I said in the first video when I first talked about this. This does make you think about helping folk. It makes you think, because young women are being snatched. Things are happening. Like I said, for Carlee Russell, someone joined us late and asked if she is guilty. At this point, we don't know definitively to the person who asked. But, as I've said in the title, Carlee Russell, things are not looking good for you. Exactly. We as a people, you know what we need to do? We need to have those analytical spirits, just like our ancestors, who would be able to discern what was happening and not be so easily bamboozled. Because here lately, our people, we believe folk when they tell us they love us, when they gonna do right by us. We believe the Republicans and the Democrats who are pulling on both sides, trying to get us to focus on their promises instead of the promises of the Most High Yah. Why can't we just align with that? We probably wouldn't get caught up in all of this other foolishness if we can just align ourselves with the promises of the Most High. It's going to be an interesting day when we hear Carlee Russell speak. It's going to be very interesting, if she ever does. Because a person doesn't have to speak and incriminate themselves. The law provides for that. But if she does speak, if she can tell us a story of what happened, that would be better for her than the silence at this point. Because there has been a lot of speculation. A lot of speculation as to whether or not she was kidnapped at all, or if she had some kind of supernatural experience. I agree with Jay Lisa. Real cases get looked over. And I am still trying to figure out, as many of you are, how did this particular case, I'm just curious. I'm glad she was found alive, family. But how did this particular case get pushed all the way to the front? I want to find that out. How? I'm trying to figure that out. How did this one get pushed to the front? When there are so many young black people, women, men, children, teenagers, that don't even get this type of coverage. They don't even get this type of response at all. Based on that, we need to look out for our families. We need to look out for our children. We need to look out for each other. Because while we're not watching, we do have young people who really do go missing. They really do go missing. Marva said that this is the first black woman that's been covered. But there have been others, but not like this. I have never seen this type of response. Anyway, family, I've been on this a little bit longer than I intended to. I thank you all for joining me this evening, but I got to get up from here. Thank you all for tuning in once again. Until next time, I just might get a chance to peek back in later, but I'm not sure at this time. But thanks for your time, and I will see you on the next video. We hope you liked today's topic. Please leave your comments below. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, share it like this video, and with that, we're out. Be sure to ring the bell to be notified of new uploads on this channel, and also comment, share, like, and subscribe.